Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is Jack. I'm Conrad. This is the 45 perfect windows for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We will see. They regressed a little bit this year, finishing sixth. We both had them pegged for the top four. 59 points, 61 goals scored, 47 goals against. Both good for sixth in the league. Manager in Mourinho who likes to spend a little bit of money. But you've got a club, if you're Spurs, and you just spent $1 billion, a lot of it financed, on a stadium seating 62,000 fans, none of whom will be showing up for the foreseeable future. So the cash machine that you would hope to generate to be able to go and get the players you want to compete, they really stunted the growth that Pochettino had over the previous 4 years. A lot of top four finishes, a Champions League final. All that revenue you have has kind of vaporized.
It is almost a curse, isn't it? Making new stadiums. Arsenal making the Emirates Stadium for Wenger decade ago kind of stunted their growth a bit. They had a bit of a poor transfer record because of that. West Ham's move to the London Stadium hasn't necessarily seen glowing success since then.
They didn't have to fund it, though.
And so I think...
Curse of new stadium, perhaps,
exactly.
But not necessarily where your money was tied up.
Yeah, but the thing with Spurs is they obviously had to change their manager, went from Pochettino to Mourinho, a much different change. But I think this signing of Mourinho showed that we got to win now. And we have a group that is reaching their peak, if not past it, and we got to try and maintain that for as long as we can and make a run. So there are a few problem areas. I think the first one probably is right back. Serge Aurier, on his day, he's quite a good right back, but his day is quite inconsistent.
Yes.
And I think there's rumors
especially down the stretch.
Rumors of him going to AC Milan. If that ends up happening, I think Max Aarons is going to be a almost must buy. He's young. I think he's already got Premier League experience. He could very easily step into that role. He reminds me a lot of Kyle Walker before he obviously moved to Manchester City. And he would be a good signing, $20 million for a young first-team player. I don't think you can turn your nose up at that, even when prices have gone down this window in comparison to where they would be in previous windows.
And it's interesting, Norwich didn't spend any money on the bounce when they came up. And now when they go back down, they're going to lose some of their better players. But then are they going to be able to invest?
Yeah.
This isn't the Norwich story here, but there's two relegation targets that we're talking about for Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Not Skriniar.
Yeah,
but
he is an interesting one. He's a bit of a not a failed project at Inter Milan, but there's rumors that Antonio Conte wants to trade Skriniar for Ndombele, which I would be kind of upset to see that happen. I know Mourinho does not like Ndombele for his style. I don't know what the issue between those two people are, but I think that if they could get Skriniar as an exchange for Ndombele, you may say, all right, maybe you didn't lose too much of your value, because then you would throw Skriniar into about a four-man center-back rotation, which would not be too bad at all. It would be very good defensively for you, because obviously, you mentioned it, 6th in the league, 6th in goals scored, 6th in goals conceded. They're just very... Meh. They're just outside of that zone.
It was largely the same squad that had the year prior gone to the Champions League final.
Exactly. So I think that Skriniar...
minus Eriksen.
Exactly. Might be a challenging player for that first team squad. But again, they want to try and change things up. Because the issue with Pochettino was they just kind of ran out of motivation. They ran out of gas in the tank.
Stop listening.
He had been pushing them so hard for so many years to push past their expectations. It's tough to keep that going on year after year after year. So fresh faces like Aarons and Skriniar in the back line would push it up, because obviously Mourinho is a very good defensive tactician, and I think Skriniar, not old himself, as well as Aarons, young himself, those would be good long-term signings who could actually help you right now.
And third up, we have another player from a relegated club, Troy Deeney, not as young as either of those two guys, probably a loan situation, but fits in that club probably pretty well as cover for Kane, who has a little bit of injury.
He came back after the restart and was back to his normal Harry Kane self and healthy. But the thing is, they've had to run him especially into the ground. And then he's ran out of gas because they never had a proper backup for him. They had Llorente for a little bit, but he wasn't
Son doesn't really play the same position.
You don't want to pull Son, who's arguably one of the best wingers in the Premier League, out of the wing. You don't want to pull him into the center. Troy Deeney, he's experienced. He'd be a good leader in the dressing room. He would be able to be a late physical presence for your side. He'd be a similar style to Kane, but he also has that experience. And so I think that a loan may be unrealistic for Watford, maybe want some money, but he wouldn't be too expensive. He's 32 years old. And he would probably give Kane the depth and the rest he needs to try and get the best out of him, because Deeney would not produce wonderful numbers by himself. But if he can extract a few more goals, not just this season, but over the next few seasons from Harry Kane, I think he'd be a very effective purchase. And not again, not the prettiest. They signed Højbjerg from Southampton, Aarons and Skriniar and Deeney. That'd be kind of just not a pretty window, but I think it'd be a very efficient one.
I think it could be because you've got a lot of solidity in the center back position at the back, right? Mm-hmm. And so Mourinho's happy with that, I think, as long as he can get the consistent play out of it, and move Aurier on, and into a better place.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where you still have a great core still. You just got to add a bit more depth, a bit more pieces to kind of try and push you on. Next season's a new season. You're in the Europa League. Who knows what could end up happening next season if you can have a good, effective window.
Well, that'll do it for Spurs. Please like, subscribe, give some comments, let us know what you think. For Jack Conrad, this has been the 45.